Hi. So this video is about sleep because sleep is so important, and I have gone over why sleep is one of the most important things for healing your body. It's so important. So I just want to describe a little bit about sleep. So when you finally go to sleep and you lie down and you start to worry and you start to think about things, this is your adrenaline and your noradrenaline and your cortisol and all these things that are spiking, and the actual hormones are not allowing you to get a good sleep. But when you finally do sleep, the first part of your night is that deep sleep. And that's the part where your brain detoxes your vitamins and minerals and hormones and all this balance. And your body really detoxes and your brain cleans itself. And this is the deep, deep sleep of the night, maybe a few hours. The rest of the night is the REM sleep. You're sort of in and out of deep sleep and REM sleep. And REM sleep is basically this sleep where you're trying to make sense of your emotions and what you've learned and all the information and assimilate the conversations and all these different things. That's why there's a lot of dreams happening, things that doesn't make sense in your brain. You feel like you're awake, you're not quite asleep, you're in a sleep. You're just making sense of all those emotions, conversations, the learning that took place. So, and that sort of happens in the second half of the night. So to optimize our deep sleep and the REM sleep, we need to do two things. So the physical and the hormonal and all of that helps us with our deep sleep. And then our emotional and our brains and what we're thinking and our thoughts and everything happens in our REM sleep. So we need to shut both of those things down at night. So what I suggest you do is you make a sleep checklist. So basically I'm just going to run over quickly, very, very quickly, that sleep starts in the morning. You get up and you get morning sunlight in your eyes. You stay outside as much as possible during the day. You wake up with the sun, you get fresh air, light in your eyes, and so that you're making vitamin D3. If you have to supplement with vitamin D3 because you're not seeing the sun anywhere, we do that in a morning because vitamin D is actually not a vitamin, it's a hormone, and it needs to happen in the morning. If you do it too close to bedtime, it will disrupt your sleep. So do it in the morning. And then magnesium is also a calming vitamin. So at nighttime, you could spray the calm magnesium on your body. You could have a drink or a tea with a little bit of magnesium calm in it. You could take a magnesium supplement, or you could just have an Epsom salt bath, which is magnesium salts in a bath, and that also helps to induce calming things. So we want to make sure that we black out just do the obvious things. So we want to make sure that we black out our windows, so like a blackout screen on all our windows in our bedroom. I put on these glasses, which are just blue blocking glasses. I put them on as soon as the sun goes down, depending on what the season is. Right now I'm putting them on at 6 o'clock at night. And then once it is dark outside, pitch dark outside, and the kids are in bed, then I transition and I put on my True Dark glasses, which are a red spectrum and a goggle, and they block everything out. So that's what I do before bed. So we want to get our light right. We want to get our temperature right, cooling our body down. We want to get our mind right, and then we want to sleep. So here's my sleep checklist. It fits on one page. It's easy. I actually should tape it up and print it out and stick it to my wall. But this is the thing that I think you need to do, is just write a sleep checklist and follow it, because sleep is so critical and it is so hard to get sleep. So the first thing, if you are sick or if you are ill, you want to get 8 to 12 hours of sleep per night. 8 is the minimum, 12 is the most that we should be sleeping. So that's what we want to get a day. So I would say 10 hours is the sweet spot for somebody who's really ill. But a lot of people can only get 9. So we try to find a way we can get 10. And if 10 isn't, start with 9. If 9 isn't working, move to 10. If 10's not working, move your way up until 12. And so basically what you need to do is you need to set a morning alarm and a night alarm. And for a long time, I turned off all my alarms. But I think that's the wrong thing. And I think you need a morning alarm and an evening alarm and a list alarm. Okay, so there's 3 alarms that you're going to set on your phone with a nice sound, chimes or whatever, and you're going to start that. So my morning alarm goes off at 6:30, and this different for everyone depending on why they have to get up. If you can sleep later, that is fantastic. Morning sleep is wonderful if you can sleep later. But I have to get up because I have kids that have to go to school, so I need to start getting them ready at 7 o'clock. So I give myself that 6:30 to 7 to kind of wake up slowly, to do like my own little morning routine, to wake everybody up, to have kisses and cuddles, you know, to brush my teeth, to do all that stuff before I sort of get into the hard morning routine and go at 7 o'clock. So 6:30 a.m. is my morning wake up. And so for 9 hours for me, that makes it 9:30 p.m. at night that I have my bedtime, my cutoff time. Now, I wish I could do 10 hours, but because my kids don't go to bed, I don't have them in bed, and I'm not out of the room until at least 8 o'clock. So then you need to also schedule in an hour for yourself before you go to bed. So by the time I sit down, by the time everything happens, it's probably 8:30, and then my bedtime's 9:30. Plus I need a 15-minute window in there for my list. So an 8 o'clock bedtime for them translates to 8:30 for me sitting down until 9:30 in bed. So whatever you have to do, you just work it out for your own schedule. And if I need that 10 hours, I could try to go 7 o'clock wake up and 9 o'clock bed, so push each window back by a half an hour. If that absolutely doesn't work, then you need to make that hour up somewhere else. Can you nap during the day for an hour? And that's a power nap where you set your alarm for an hour, you go to bed, you don't worry about sleeping, you just say, I'm going to rest in this bed and try to sleep for an hour. And when the alarm goes off, you get up. Or if you need more than that, then you would set the alarm for more. So that's how you make up the hours. If you cannot stretch your morning and bedtime a little bit longer, then you make it up as a nap during the day. So that's the first thing you need to do, set the morning alarm and the PM alarm. Now you need to set a third additional alarm, an hour and 15 minutes before your bedtime alarm, okay? And so this is the time that you make your list alarm. This is your list alarm, and it happens before your hour of sit down or time to turn off your brain. So 15 minutes before you are meant to sit down. So for me, it's 8:30, so it's an 8:15 alarm. My alarm will go off, and I need to sit down with a blank piece of paper like this. I write at the top, to do, to talk about, and to worry about. So anything that's on my mind that I am stressed out that I need to do the next day, things where I feel like I need to talk to my partner about, I need to tell them, I need to tell somebody, I need to talk about this, or things that I'm worried about, stressed out about, worried, things that are on my mind, things that are bothering me. So all this goes on the list, and this is a power list. So you have 15 minutes to write it. If it doesn't take that long, that's great. If it takes 5 minutes, great. You just sit down and you jot it all down on the list. Only one sheet, just jot it down on the list, and you're way to go. So those are the 3 things. Now, then you are going to make sure that you have, basically you've got your lights on, you've got your lights dimmed in the house, so all the lights are dimmed. Okay, an hour, like right after you write that list, all the lights in the house are dimmed. I put these on. Then I come into my room, I shut off all my lights, and I turn on my salt lamp. I don't know if you can see this. So I turn my salt lamp on beside my bed. I get my glass of water filled, and I fill my essential oil diffuser there with lavender, so that when I come into the room, it's all ready to go, and all I have to do is crawl into bed, so that if I wake up, I have my water handy. My salt lamp's on, so when I come into the room, it's a very calming environment, and I just flick on my essential oils then, and I can crawl into bed, and it will diffuse some lavender. So that's also a step. So first thing on your checklist, set your 3 alarms. Second thing, do your to-do, to worry list, to talk about list. Make that list. Third thing, you get your glasses on, you dim all the lights in your house, you make it a dark environment in your room, everything ready beside your bed. And the next thing is turn down the heat. So if you can sleep with your window open, that's great at night. Sleep with your bedroom window open. If you can't, because right now where I live, it's minus 20 below at night, so I can't do that. But I will turn down the heat in my house, okay? So instead of the normal 72 degrees, I'll turn it down to 68 at night. You could also just keep the heat where it is and crack your window a little bit. That also helps. So we want to turn the heat down, make sure our bed's comfy and cozy for us to turn into. We make our worry list and all of that. And our tea, we drink our tea, our herbal tea, or a little warm concoction. A warm drink before bed is great. And you can start to drink that while you're making your list. And then, so an hour before bedtime, though, you should be done. And basically so that you don't have any liquids for an hour before you go to bed. And that's simply because all the amount of teas and liquids, and I used to be the worst for this, is just drinking brewing a whole pot of herbal tea and then just drinking it all night long right up until bedtime. Well, then you do have to get up and go to the bathroom several times a night, and that wakes you up and it disrupts your sleep. So knock off the drinks about an hour before bedtime, but make sure you do get a nice warming drink in there beforehand. So maybe around 8 o'clock, 8 to 8:30 would be great. And then you sit down. So you have your hour to decompress. So you don't need to talk anymore. You don't need to worry anymore. You don't need to stress about these things. They're on the list, and you know you're going to do them in the morning when you're the most rested and everything and prepared, so you can handle this list in the morning. So now, if sitting down with your partner and getting a foot rub and watching a TV show, just make sure it's not a stressful, violent, or stimulating show. You would put on your dark glasses, dim everything down so there's only candlelight, and sit down and watch a funny show or a couples show or like a dramedy or some sort of like whatever together. You could read in your bed. You could stretch or meditate. You could have a bath. You could do whatever it is that you find relaxing that lets you turn off your brain and not think about things that you need to do, talk about stressful things, or worry about stressful things, because we need to get our mind turned off as well before bed. So that's the thing. You do your hour thing, and then you crawl into bed, and you lie there. When your alarm goes off, that's a dead stop. No matter what you're doing, you crawl into bed. It's just like your alarm going off in the morning. It's the same. So you crawl into bed, you rest, you breathe, you practice long breathing through your nostrils, and you just relax your body. If a worry pops into your mind or something that you have to do or something you forgot to talk about, just set it aside and know that it's all captured on the list, and you are going to worry about that in the morning when your alarm goes off. So know that that's all taken care of, and let your mind soothe down. That's all taken care of. And then all you have to do is try to relax your body parts. Breathe. We're not going to stress about sleeping or think too hard about how to fall asleep or trying to fall asleep or, oh my God, I'm not falling asleep. We're going to take those worries off, because all you're meant to do is stay in the bed from those hours until your alarm goes off, just relaxing and resting your body. So you can breathe, you can do little exercises to relax your muscles, you can get in comfy positions, think about something funny, whatever, but we're going to try to just turn off our brain, because that will help us start to detox and fall into our sleep patterns. The other thing that you can do, so the first part is if you have too much hormones and stress and vitamins and supplements or drugs or any of these things in your system, they detox during your deep sleep. So making sure that you have enough water when you get up and water before you go to bed to help your body detox and flush is one thing that you can help with deep sleep, sort of help your body do its job. For emotional stuff, we start to turn our brain off an hour before bed, so we're helping our brain already slow it down so that in our REM sleep we can assimilate our emotions better and the things we learned. And the other thing that you can do is, if you're like me and you're a prolific researcher and podcast listening tour, and you're constantly getting input and information all day long, this REM sleep is when you assimilate this information. So really try to minimize the amount of knowledge in the later half of the day. So do all your knowledge or reading or learning or getting information in the morning, and in the afternoon, starting at about 12:30 onward or noon onward, we want to start to slow it down. So that's when we put our stretching, our napping, our resting, our meditating, our own thoughts. We turn off all the podcasts, we turn off all the videos, everything, and we listen to our own thoughts. We start to already get in tune with our own thoughts and process our own thoughts. So that by the time we're crawling into bed, we're much more relaxed and we're much more able to deal and process the other people's inputs that have gone into our life, all this information, and then we've had time to think about our own thoughts and problems and things that we're worried about, and listen to ourselves. So that listening to yourself in the second half of the day is key, and then slowing it down and writing all those down and turning it off before bedtime and giving yourself an hour of no activity at all, or even earlier if you can, so that you can really settle your mind. So I hope that this has helped. You want to get your bed dark and cool and your area set up for sleep. You want to set your 3 alarms. You want to turn your lights off, turn down your heat, put your glasses on. You want to stop your liquids an hour before bedtime, and you want to make your worry list, and you want to shut it down and help your body unwind. So I hope that this is helpful. Honestly, do it. Make a sleep checklist. Write these things down. Set your alarms and do it tonight. And sweet dreams. I hope you get a good sleep. If you feel exhausted or tired during the day, then sleep. Set an alarm for a power nap for a half an hour if you can, and sleep whenever you can. If you're working, when you get home from work. If you're too sick to work and you're at home, then during the day. So I hope this helps, and happy sleeping.